it was wet. And I'm like, bruh, am I peeing on myself in my sleep? And I'm like, she gonna check my cervix with the balloon in there? Oh, hell no. Oh, you're 10 centimeters. It's time to push. Bitch. But my mother was telling me push before the doctor was telling me push. Like, girl.
And push. And push. There you go.
You did good.
You did so good.
You did good.
So good.
Ring, ring, ring. Postman.
Simplyenayiaa. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. I know I've been gone for a minute. I haven't posted in 2 weeks, and I honestly don't have an explanation of why I haven't posted. Today's video is going to be a video on Q&A on questions that people had about my pregnancy and everything, and then a labor and delivery video of how everything went about. He's asleep right now. That man knocked. But we're gonna start with Q&A. So the first question is, did I want a boy or a girl? I wanted a boy. I did not want a girl. I wouldn't mind having a little girl, but I honestly wanted a boy. I feel like boys are easier. These girls nowadays, they got too much going on, so I'm fine with my son. How did you come up with the name that he has? So I didn't come up with the name, like his first, middle, I didn't come up with none of that. My boyfriend came up with everything. His name is Enayiaa Sincere Kauser. The Sincere came from, that was supposed to be my boyfriend's name before he got his name that he have. So we decided to make that our baby middle name. And the name Enayiaa, I don't know where that came from. He just randomly was like, let's name the baby Enayiaa, let's name the baby Enayiaa. So he came up with the name and I came up with the spellings. Were you scared to give birth? So honestly, I was scared to give birth. I was extremely terrified. I thought it was going to hurt. I didn't know what to expect. So I was really scared to give birth, only because I didn't know if I was going to be able to tolerate the pain. I didn't know how the healing process was going to be. Like, I was extremely terrified. How much weight did you gain? So before I was pregnant, I was weighing 112, and I got all the way up to 157, so I gained about 45 pounds throughout my whole pregnancy. Do you like being a mom? I absolutely love being a mom. Like, it's different. But having your own child is, like, amazing. Like, I love being a mom. I wouldn't trade it for the world. When was your due date? So my due date was February 5th. I had him January 3rd, so he did come a whole month early. I had him at 35 weeks and 2 days. How was your pregnancy journey? Honestly, I have no complaints about my pregnancy journey. My pregnancy journey was smooth. I didn't throw up. I didn't have morning sickness. I was able to eat everything. Like, nothing made me sick. No smell made me sick. Nothing I ate made me sick. Like, I was completely fine. I had a whole bunch of energy. But my pregnancy journey was amazing. Like, no complaints. My stomach did get kind of heavy towards the end, and it was making my back hurt. But I didn't really have, like I didn't have acne. My hair wasn't falling out. Like, I was fine. So I had a great pregnancy journey. Are you doing formula or breastfeeding? I am. He is a strictly breastfed baby. Are you experiencing postpartum? No, I don't even know what postpartum is. Like, I know what postpartum is, but for me, nah, I don't even know what that is. Like, I'm not experiencing postpartum, nothing. Like, I'm completely fine. Would you do it again? That is for God to know. Okay? What did you pack in your hospital bag? That's a funny question because I didn't have a fucking hospital bag. Like, everything happened so quick, I didn't have time to have a hospital bag. I didn't have time to make one. I didn't even have the baby shower, so I didn't have a hospital bag. How did it feel having a NICU baby? It was extremely hard knowing that I just gave birth to a whole human and he wasn't here with me. I had to keep going up to the hospital to, like, go visit him, take him milk, go check on him. I had to keep calling to see if he was okay. I felt miserable. I felt empty. I felt incomplete. Why was he in a NICU? So he was in a NICU because he came out 4 pounds and 14 ounces, and he was 35 weeks. So I had him pretty early. He also had trouble with like eating, so he was on a feeding tube for about a week, and then they was helping him learn how to eat from a bottle after that. He also did have jaundice. I'm gonna put a definition on the screen because I suck at explaining what jaundice is. They had him under the phototherapy light for a couple days, and jaundice went away, but he didn't come out with like no complications. He wasn't sick, he wasn't on the oxygen tank, nothing like that. So it wasn't like nothing serious. They just wanted to make sure that when I take him home, he was able to eat. And when he first came out, he wasn't eating from the bottle, so he did have a feeding tube. How long was your baby in the NICU for? So he was in the NICU for 15 days. Yeah, 2 weeks and a day. What do you do as far as breastfeed, and how's the journey? So breastfeed, I pump, I put him on the breast, and I store milk. I pump milk throughout the day, and all the milk that I pump I pour into a pitcher. After that I make bottles. He do eat off my breast, so I don't want to have too many bottles made. And then I hate washing freaking bottles. Like, that's a job itself. Okay, any advice for new moms? So I wrote down some advice. Yeah, because your girl don't play. Number one, I put be patient, always be calm. Be patient because your baby is learning you and you learning your baby. Like, you're not gonna know everything. If you feel like the baby is overwhelming you, place your baby somewhere safe. Like, lay them on the bed on their back somewhere safe. Put them in the swing, strapped up, lay them in their bed, and just walk away for like 5 to 10 minutes. Get yourself together. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to ask people questions. Like, I've been asking my cousin questions a lot. No question is a dumb question. You are a new parent, so ask questions. Ask away. Asking for help is okay. I have to learn that myself because I don't really like asking for help. I'd rather just do it myself and get it done. But it's okay to ask for help. Prepare yourself for birth. So I say make sure you got your hospital bag. Make sure you physically and mentally prepared to give birth. The next advice I have for y'all is sleep when baby sleep. Whenever your baby is asleep, sleep with them because you gonna be tired. Don't let anyone tell you what to do or how to do when it comes to your child. So I'm still learning that now because it's people out here that would say, oh, I'm gonna do this for your child, and it's like, bitch, did you ask me? Like, no you didn't. But yeah, don't let nobody tell you what to do or how to do it when it comes to your child. Like, I know our parents have been parents before, but things change and it's different when it's your own kid. So just do what you think is best for you and your child. Set boundaries early. Yeah, please set boundaries early. Another advice I have is download helpful apps. Huckleberry is an app. It look like this. It's an app that tracks when your baby sleep, when your baby eat, when you changed him, when you pumped. It also got other options for like when your baby get bigger, when your baby was using the potty, when they eat solid foods and stuff like that. And it's a really good app, like a really good app. The next one is follow your gut. If you feel like something is wrong with your baby, follow your gut. Like, don't wait for nobody else to say something wrong with your baby. And the last piece of advice I have is to believe in yourself. You are a first-time mom. You're going to do great. You're going to love motherhood. Just believe in yourself. Believe that you could do it. You're going to be a best mom. You're going to be the best dad. Like, it's amazing. It's fun. I love it. That's all the advice I have for right now. I'm going to see y'all in a minute when I record the next part of this video. Okay, I'm finally back. And we about to get right into the story time of labor and delivery. January 3rd, my water broke at 1 a.m. I didn't know my water broke. I kept thinking, I was asleep. I kept thinking I was peeing on myself. And I just kept waking up. And I'm like, am I fucking peeing on myself? And I was actually going to the bathroom and peeing. So I'm like, okay. But I was peeing on myself. I washed myself up. I changed my clothes. And then I got back in the bed. Like 5 minutes later again, I had to pee again. But when I felt my clothes, it was wet. And I'm like, bruh, am I peeing on myself in my sleep? But it was never on the bed. Like, it was just on my clothes. So after like the third time, y'all, I was really tripping. Like, didn't nobody tell me about like water breaking. I didn't know what to expect or nothing like that. Plus, it was early. Like, it wasn't time for me to deliver. So after like the third time, I woke up and I called my mother. And I'm like, Ma, I don't know if I'm peeing on myself or if my water broke. She like, what color is it? Do it have a smell? Like, asking me all these questions. I'm like, girl, it don't have no color. Like, it's clear. it don't have a smell. It don't smell like pee or nothing like that. So she like, you may need to call your doctor and find out, and then call me back. So as I'm doing that, my mother ended up calling everybody. She called my father, told my father. She called my stepmother, told my stepmother. She called my boyfriend and told him, like, we not in the same damn house. So I ended up calling the doctor, and I was talking to the advice nurse because like the doctor's office closed. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm talking to the advice nurse, and I'm like, yeah, I think my water broke, but I'm not too sure. Like, this is my first child. I don't know what to expect or whatever. So she asking me questions. She was just like, are you having like any pain? Did your mucus plug fall out? All this other stuff. So my mucus plug never fell out. I don't even know what the fuck a mucus plug is. I wasn't having no pain. She was asking, am I still like experiencing water down there? And I'm like, yeah, it still feel like I'm peeing on myself, but like I'm not pushing, like it's just a lot of water coming. She was like, yeah, I think your water may have broke. She was asking me what hospital I was delivering at, so I told her Washington Hospital Center. She asked for my information and she asked for my number. She was like, I'm gonna hang up and I'm gonna call Washington Hospital Center to see if we need to get you admitted, and then I'm gonna give you a call right back, so stay by your phone. So I'm like, all right. So I come back in the room, my boyfriend still asleep, and I woke him up, and I'm like, babe, I think my water broke. I said, I just got off the phone with an advice nurse. She gonna call the hospital to see if I need to come in. So he like, all right. He ended up going back to sleep because he wasn't really sure if I needed to go in the hospital or not. And plus I wasn't in pain. Like, it didn't look like I was in pain, which I wasn't. So he went back to sleep and was just waiting for me to give him an update. So probably like 15-20 minutes later, the lady called back and she was like, yeah, we're admitting you into the hospital. She was like, they already have your information, so just go to the hospital and just get admitted. So I'm like, all right. So I woke my boyfriend back up. I'm like, babe, we gotta go to the hospital. My water broke. So he was like, he wasn't like scared or nothing like that. I think it's because it happened early. Like, we wasn't expecting this to happen. So he get his stuff. I pack up my little purse. All I packed was my charger, my AirPods, and my phone. My boyfriend didn't bring nothing. He didn't bring his charger. I don't think he had his headphones. I don't even remember, but he was, yeah, we was ready. So we get in the car. I'm walking regular. I put on some sweatpants. I put on like a pair of underwears. Then I put some boxes over top because I didn't want my water to keep breaking and it be like all over the car seat or whatever like that. Before we get to the hospital, y'all, my boyfriend ran like 2 lights. 2 red lights he ran. And I didn't know why he was running red lights, but at the same time, he was probably nervous. Like, your water broke, that means the baby about to come. But no, that's not what happened. So we get to the hospital, and the hospital was very hard to like find what entrance I was supposed to go in. And then when we did find the entrance, it was hard to figure out where the hell we were supposed to go. I met the lady at the front desk, gave her my name and stuff and my Kaiser card, and she was like, oh, the lady just called over the phone for you. So I'm like, okay. So they put me in this room. The lady told me to get undressed and put on like the little gown and to pee in the cup. So I did that. I peed in the cup, and when the doctor came back, she was just asking me like, have I noticed anything when I went to the bathroom or anything like that. So when I did go to the bathroom, I did bleed a little, and the nurse was like, the doctor, I don't think that was the nurse, one of them, they was like, it was fine. They checked my urine, and basically my water did break, and I was a centimeter and a half dilated. So I was just laying down for a minute. They checked my vitals, stuff like that. It had to be like 2 something when we got to the hospital. They end up putting me in a wheelchair, and they took me to a new room on another side, basically the labor and delivery side. And well, before they took me there, the lady was like, yeah, well, you're going to be having your baby today. And I'm like, I know the fuck you lying. So she took me to the other side of the labor and delivery room, and I had this nice room that had a bathroom on the inside. When my nurse came, my nurse was so nice. I had like a couple nurses. Like, I had like 3 nurses. They was all nice. I had this one nurse. Her name was Sarah. I loved her to freaking death. Like, she had me, my mother, and my boyfriend in the room dying laughing. Like, she was just too funny. She was making me feel comfortable. I wasn't like too nervous when she was around. I just felt like, I don't know, like it felt good that she was there. So when they took me to the room, they was asking me questions like, do I want to get my epidural now? They was asking me something about a Foley balloon and stuff like that. So after they was asking me all this, I was just asking questions about like, what is a Foley balloon? If I get the epidural, like, won't it, you know, like when it's time for me to push, won't the epidural wear off or something like that? So she was basically like, when you get the epidural, you get a button to press, and you get to release the medicine every 15 minutes, I think. Hell if I know. And then the Foley balloon is like a balloon that get inserted in you. They blow it up while it's inside of you. And when you get to 4 to 5 centimeters dilated, the balloon gonna fall out. So I was just asking questions on, like, you know, what the Foley balloon is and like how the epidural stuff was gonna work. They basically told me if I get the epidural, I wouldn't be able to get back up and use the bathroom because I have to like stay there. So I had to decide whether I wanted to get the Foley balloon and whether I was ready to get my epidural. So I knew for sure that I wasn't ready to get my epidural because I was literally I was still 1.5 centimeters dilated when they transferred me to my new room, which was probably like 3 o'clock when I got to my new room. I didn't dilate no more. So they kept saying, oh, we could put the Foley balloon in you now so it could help you dilate faster. But for me, I didn't want to rush my dilation. I wanted to like it take its time. Because they did say once the Foley balloon get inserted in me, it was going to put pressure on my pelvis. And I didn't want that just yet. I just got in the fucking hospital. Like, damn, don't make me have my baby, like, now. So, it was, like, a tough decision. So, after she told me that, she ended up leaving the room. And the nurses coming back, like, every 45 minutes to an hour to check on me and my vitals, make sure everything was fine. When my nurse came in, they came in about 3 times after we talked about the Foley balloon. I was like, hey, are you ready to get the Foley balloon in? And I'm like, I don't really know. I kept looking at my boyfriend like, what should I do? I'm like, I don't really know. So they'd leave and then they'd come back, leave and come back. So the 3rd time they came back, my nurse was in there with the doctor. And she was like, oh, I was like, so is the Foley balloon going to hurt getting put in? And they said no, because we give you some type of medicine that they was like the numbing wear off after like 30 minutes. So the numbing, it get in your system quick and then it wear off quick. So I was looking at my nurse and I'm like, I don't really know if I should do this. I'm looking at my boyfriend like, you not fucking helping me decide what I should do about this Foley balloon. So by the time they left to get the Foley balloon and all the stuff that came with it, I had to like actually make a decision. So I'm like, I might as well just go ahead and get the Foley balloon. In my head, I'm like, I just want to hurry up and push this baby out and everything will be over or whatever. When they came back with the stuff for the Foley balloon, my nurse was like, hey, I'm going to give you this shot. She was like, girl, it's going to feel like you had about 4 cocktails. She was like, you're going to feel fine. You're not going to even feel the Foley balloon going in. So I'm like, all right. So she was like, where you want the shot at? So I got it in my left arm. And I swear to y'all, once she put the medicine inside me, like, I felt like a cold feeling going down my arm. And then instantly I felt like I was drunk. Like my birthday all over again. I was like, babe, I feel drunk. I feel drunk. So they left for a minute. Came back like 5 minutes later to like let the medicine settle in throughout my whole body. So they came back. And it was like, prop your legs up so we could put the Foley balloon in. So they put the Foley balloon in, blew it up. I really didn't feel nothing. So after they put the balloon in, I was asking them, I'm like, okay, with this balloon in, am I able to like move around, use the bathroom? Can I like use the exercise ball and stuff like that? They was like, yeah. I made a good decision by getting the Foley balloon and not getting the epidural yet. Because if I would have got the epidural, I would never been able to like move or nothing like that. I would have just had to lay in the bed and I had to pee in the pan. And I don't want to pee in nobody's pan. So when they put the Foley balloon in, I think I was probably like 2 centimeters dilated. I only dilated a 1/2 centimeter. So I was 2 centimeters dilated when they put the Foley balloon in. I was telling my boyfriend to like hand me exercise balls so I could put between my legs and, you know, like move my hips and stuff. I was standing up, moving my body around. And with the Foley balloon in is when I realized I was bleeding more. So I was asking the nurse, is that normal for me to bleed more? And they like, yeah, it's normal. So they put like the little pad under me so I wouldn't get blood on the floor or whatever. I was able to go to the bathroom. I wasn't able to eat, so all I was eating was fucking ice and drinking water. I love hospital ice, so I ain't gonna knock the hospital ice. But I was crushing the hospital ice. I ended up falling asleep with the Foley balloon in. And my contractions didn't start until I was probably like, I can't even tell you how many centimeters I was dilated because I didn't fucking know. So my contractions, I had contractions like when they put the Foley balloon in, but it wasn't bad. It just felt like cramps. And every time the doctor or the nurse came in, they was looking at the screen like, oh, you having a contraction. I'm like, yeah. They like, but you're laying there fine. Like, nothing is hurting. I'm like, it don't. Like, it feel like cramps. I was just laying there cooling on TikTok. Mind my business. So I didn't even mention the whole time in the hospital I was talking to my parents. They kept calling like every hour or two, checking on me, saying like if it's a new update. My mom was the only person that was coming up to the hospital because I wanted her in the delivery room with me. So she was calling, checking on me. So she probably called like every 2 hours. She said she was going to come up there around like 12 o'clock. So from 3 o'clock in the morning all the way up until probably like 10, 11, I was fine. Like I was having contractions, but it wasn't bad. Like I was able to like lay through my contractions. I was able to sleep through my contractions. Like it wasn't bad. So I did take a nap. And the nurses kept coming in, you know, checking, make sure everything fine. One of the nurses woke me up when I was taking a nap and was like, "You're having a contraction. You don't feel it?" I'm like, "No, I feel it, but it don't hurt." Like, it was, like, it wasn't painful. So, my mother called at 12 o'clock. I'm like, "Mom, where you at?" First you said 8. Then you said 10. Then you said 12. Girl's going to 1 o'clock, where you at? So, when it was like 12:30-ish, another doctor came in and was like, "Hey, do you want your epidural now, because we can see that your contractions are coming like every 2 minutes." I'm like, "No, I don't want no epidural." He was like, are you sure you don't want epidural?" "I don't want no epidural." So I'm like, "No, I'm fine. I don't need no epidural right now. I'm fine." But I was like, "When is it too late for me to ask for epidural?" But the doctor was like, "It's never too late to ask for epidural. You can ask for epidural whenever, and they supposed to give it to you." So I'm like, okay. So here's the funny part. My doctor came in and she was like, "Hey, your Foley balloon still haven't fell out?" And this was probably like going on 1 o'clock, close to 1 o'clock. She was like, "Your Foley balloon haven't fell out?" And I'm like, So she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna check your cervix." And I'm like, "She gonna check my cervix with the balloon in there? Oh, hell no." So I laid back, put my legs up or whatever, and she just pulled the balloon out. And she was like, "You're 7 centimeters dilated." I'm like, "So why the balloon never fell out? You said it was gonna fall out when I was 4 or 5 centimeters, and I'm 7, and the shit never fell out." And y'all was still not, the contractions was still not bothering me. But it was like after the balloon fell out is when the contractions started getting worse. So probably like 15 minutes after the balloon came out, my contractions started getting worse to where I wanted to opt in for epidural. So I started crying. This is when my boyfriend knew my contractions was bad. I started crying, and I was looking at him. He was like, "You want me to go get the nurse to tell him to get the epidural?" I'm like, "Please. Please," because at this point I can't do it. So he went to go get the nurse, and when they was getting the stuff ready for the epidural, so when you tell them you want epidural, it take them about 10 minutes to get everything. Like, damn, bitch, you been rushing me all this time for some fucking epidural, and it take y'all this long to get the shit ready. You should have already been ready, just in case I said I was ready for it. But anyways, we ain't gonna talk about it. So when they came in with the epidural stuff, my boyfriend stepped out because he don't really like seeing like needles, blood, nothing like that. So he stepped out while I was getting the epidural. They getting the stuff ready, and the man like, "You have to bend over a little bit." He prepping my back or whatever. He like, "When we put this in you, you cannot move." So he was like, "First we go and numb your back so you don't feel it, and then you gotta stay still while we put the catheter and stuff in your back." So I'm like, all right. So while they was doing it, I was having contractions in the middle of it. I wanted to like move around just to like make the contraction move a little faster. So every time he was trying to put the needle in my back, a contraction would come. I'm like, "Can we please wait till after I had this contraction?" So he numbed my back, and in the middle of him numbing my back, I had a contraction. So I had to sit there, I had to hold my breath, and, you know, deal with it. And then they put the catheter in and everything like that, and I was plugged up to the epidural. Y'all, I never knew I had to press the button to fucking release the epidural. This whole time I thought when they put it in my back, the epidural was just moving through my system. Like, I swear that's what I thought. So that whole time, for me being 7 centimeters and just dealing with my contractions, I never pressed the epidural. But in my head, that's why I keep saying everything is like a mental thing. So in my head, I'm already thinking, I got the epidural in my system, so I'm not about to really, you know, feel pain or whatever. Whole time, I never fucking had epidural in my system. So when the nurse came in, probably like around 2 o'clock, and she checked my cervix again, she like, "Oh, you're 10 centimeters. It's time to push." Bitch, you just checked me 20 minutes ago and I was only 7. Now I'm 10? I said, oh, hell no. So I was not prepared to push. But at the same time, it was like, I'm ready to get this over with. I'm ready to meet my son. But when she told me I was 10 centimeters dilated, my mother still wasn't there. So I'm like, where the fuck is she at? So when they was getting everything ready to, you know, like, have me push and stuff like that, my mother was in the hallway the whole time. So right when I started pushing, my mother walked in. My mother helping me push, and she still had her goddamn coat on. So so the pushing process, they say you gonna push every time your contraction come. You gonna push 3 times and hold it for 10 seconds. Every time the doctor kept telling me push. Y'all mother in the back pushing my fucking neck. Like, push. I'm like, bruh, we need to get her out this room. I need somebody else in here. So my boyfriend was scared. So all he did was like hold my hand, hold my shoulder and stuff like that. My mother just kept pushing my damn neck every time the doctor said push. So I was like, damn. He told me I was 10 centimeters dilated at 2 o'clock. I had my son at 2:38. So like 30 minutes later, my son came out. But by the time I got to like the third push, I was getting good with the pushing. The doctor like, that's a good push, that's a good push. Keep going and keep doing it. My mother just kept pushing my fucking neck. Like, damn. When I got to the, I think like my second to last contraction, my mother was telling me push before the doctor was telling me push. Like, girl, you're not certified to do this. I'm looking at her like, you need to calm down. We need to replace her. Like, somebody else need to be back here. So I was pushing and they were saying the baby head came out. So like the second to last time I pushed, his head came out. And my mother like, his head. And they was asking me if I wanted the mirror to see it. I'm like, I don't want to see that. So then the doctor was like, well, you could put your hand right here and you could actually feel his head. He has a lot of hair. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm completely fine. So when it got to like the last push, right, y'all, I'm pushing. It was the last push, but you know you gotta push 3 times. So the first time I pushed, his head was coming out some more, and I was closing in on him. And my mother smacked the back of my neck. Was like, "Girl, you better not smush my grandbaby head." I'm like, she need to go. I can't even focus. Like, she wasn't giving me time to breathe. So after I pushed the first time, they was already ready to go into the second push. Bitch, I didn't even catch my breath. It felt like I was drowning. So when I got to the second push, he was coming out some more. By the time the third push came, his shoulders came out, and that's when I felt everything. Like, I felt his shoulders come out. I didn't really, the whole time I was pushing, it wasn't really hurting. It was kind of like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it wasn't really hurting, but you could tell like I was trying to push something out. But by the time that last push came and his shoulders came out is when I really felt like his whole body fucking come out of my area. And it hurt when his shoulders came out, but at the same time it was like a relief that he came out. So when I pushed him out, they picked him up and they put him on my chest, and I started crying because he was so beautiful, like so handsome. Me and my boyfriend was taking pictures. Like the same nurse I was telling you about, she was like, oh, we getting a family picture. So she took a picture of us or whatever. I'm gonna make sure I insert the picture. And they was cleaning me up. So they basically was like, you don't have no rips, no tears, you don't have to get no stitches. It was like you just bruised a little bit, but it was like, but you did absolutely amazing for you not to have epidural. Like, you pushed that baby out like it was nothing. After that, they took the baby to the NICU, and I was sitting in the room with my mom. So my boyfriend walked down to the NICU with them. I was in there with my nurse, and she was coming in like bringing stuff for like the recovery, the aftermath of it. So she bought me like some icy pads that would like help my vaginal area, because after you push a baby out, it burns. I'm not gonna even lie to you, it burns. I laid down for a minute. She was asking, she told me, she was like, get up. She was like, it's gonna be hard for you to walk. Some people it's hard for them to walk. Girl, I get up and ran to the bathroom. Like, no, I didn't literally run, but my legs, like, I felt fine. I felt normal. So I went to the bathroom and I tried to pee, and I'm like, is this supposed to burn? And she's like, oh yeah, try to use this Purry ball. She put cold water, and she was like, as you peeing, you squeeze down there because it's gonna help with the burning sensation. So I'm like, all right. So she showed me how to, you know, set my little maternity underwears up with the little pad and stuff in it. And then by the time I came out the bathroom, my mother already packed up the stuff, and they was moving me to another room. I got to the room, and I was laying there for a minute. I wasn't really in pain, but it was just like something happened to my body that I wasn't used to. I ended up going to the NICU probably like an hour after I delivered, and I just went to go see him. I cried because it was like, I can't believe I had a whole baby, and everything was just so amazing. So like I said, he did come out 4 pounds 14 ounces. He came out 47 centimeters long, and he came at 2:38 p.m. So I was in labor for 13 hours, which wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't bad for me. If I was to rate my contractions, I would rate them a freaking 4, 5 at the highest. Me rating my delivery process, I would give that like 5. And the aftermath, I would give that a 4. Yeah, that's my labor and delivery story, and that's my widow pumpkin back there. Y'all fighting in person. But yeah, that's the end of this story time.
Like you pooping, like you pooping, like you pooping, like you pooping.
Just like that, just like that.
All the pressure down at the bottom, all the pressure at the bottom.
7, 8, 9, 10. One more time.
Go.
Right where you feel my fingers giving pressure. Good. Keep going. There. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay.
Come on, you almost there, come on. You got this, go.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Right back into it.
Right back into
Right
it.
back into it. 1,
Right there,
2,
right there.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Don't let your
And
breath
right
go.
back into it.
Don't let your breath go. Hold it, hold it, hold it.
Good job.
He right there, he right there. Shh. Breathe, 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 breathe. He's right there. His head is right there.
Oh my God.
His head is right there. Breathe. You feel it?
You want to use your hand to feel his head? Right there.
Oh no.
5. Good. You're pushing my fingers out.
That's
6,
it. Beautiful.
7,
Beautiful.
8, 9, 10. Good job.
Back into
Push
it.
all my fingers out. And push.
Go. Oh, you right
Go
there.
ahead.
Go,
Hold
go,
it.
go,
Hold it.
go.
Harder.
Go,
3,
go.
You're doing great.
5,
right
6,
there.
7, 8, 9, and 10. Good job.
Nope. Just breathe, just breathe, just breathe, just breathe. Go for it, 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 push.
3,
You got this, you got this, you got this.
6, 7,
You
8,
got this.
9, 10.
Right back
Good
into it.
job. One more time.
Ready? Go.
Come on, baby.
And
Go.
Great.
There you go.
That's great.
There you go.
3,
Yep.
4,
Oh, he's right
Yep.
there.
5,
Keep
6,
Keep
going.
7, 8,
Yep.
9,
Oh, he's right
10. Good job. And push.
You're almost done, babe.
2, 3, 4,
What size?
5,
7,
6,
please.
7,
You're almost there,
8,
babe.
9, 10.
Thank you.
Just head out. You're almost there.
And push. And push.
Shoulders out.
You did it, babe. You did it. You did it. You did it.
Oh, listen at him.
You did it.
Listen at him.
Yes.
Oh.
Good job.
Oh.
What happened? Tell us. Do you want the plant? Dad, you want to cut?
Yeah.
All right, Dad.
Oh, he gonna cut? Oh, I gotta take this.
Right in between these two white brackets.
Just let those tears go, baby. Let them go.
All right, I'm going to bring him over so the doctors can take a peek, okay?
Listen to him crying. You did good. You did so good. You did good.
So good.
Excuse